Hello, and welcome to our Valley United Methodist Church's weekly devotional offered by Spiritual Connection. I'm Marcia Clark, and we will be joined today by Nikki Nansky and Tim Kennedy. Easter Sunday was powerful in a new way this year. Sheltering at home made Easter lonely. One of my favorite parts of Easter is when our congregation enthusiastically joins our voices together, singing the hymn, Christ the Lord is risen today. Singing it at home, alone and off-key, made me more aware of separation than I have been through all these weeks of distancing. Then, not being with family, not having the grandchildren at the house to dye 5 dozen eggs, and not turning all those eggs into deviled eggs that people start eating long before the meal is served, increased the sense of separation. Not having that moment of prayer when all gathered give thanks for the food, the family, and most especially the Christ as the focus of our gathering, made the day empty and raw. I realized that this Easter was perhaps more like the first Easter. The disciples, hiding in that upper room, huddled away, fearful and grieving, not understanding what is happening, not knowing what will happen, much the way we feel now. Huddled and hidden, each one feeling isolated and alone with their grief, their confusion, their doubt. We have been sharing words from John O'Donohue's book, To Bless the Space Between Us, as our weekly devotional focus. Today, I'm going to share a portion of this blessing that he has written for loneliness. To dissolve the shell of dross that has closed around you, choose in this severe silence to hear the one true voice. How beautiful to recognize that our separations, our loneliness, is the gift of time that allows us to choose to hear the one true voice. Nikki Nansky, a member of our church, agreed to share her experience of loneliness through shelter at home and how it has moved her to once more feel her connection with the one. Here's what Nikki shared.
When all this began with the sheltering in place, it didn't seem like it was going to be all that difficult to me. It felt like a normal way of life. I honestly felt like it would feel like a great staycation. It was a get a vacation that I couldn't refuse a vacation because I was furloughed. But then Sunday night came and I started to get ready for work, and I realized suddenly that there was no work to go to. I can't see my grandson. I can't see my family. Wait, what? What's happening? So now it's starting to sink in. Things were starting to feel a little bit surreal. I'm still walking my dog. I'm still walking along the green belt, saying hello to people. But as time went on, I noticed that their heads started to go down, their eyes shifted away, and we all walked as quickly away from each other as possible. At that point, I started to feel a little disconnected. And I found at home that I couldn't settle. I couldn't read. I had no interest in cleaning those cupboards. And I couldn't focus except how to feel like I was useful making masks. I started to feel lonely. I remember saying in Sunday school one time that we come into this world alone and that we leave it alone, and that we need to get comfortable with that idea. What I meant is that we do that without people, but not without God. But now I hear about people dying without their people being allowed in. And even though I always feel like I'm held by God, it didn't mean that I didn't want to do that without my people. I can almost feel their loneliness, and it starts to make me feel more alone and helpless. I find myself staring out the window and being more lethargic. This doesn't happen every day. I have good days too where I feel like I'm finally getting rested up, and I start projects and I make lists of things that I want to accomplish. And in that moment of recognition, I'm startled because what I'm really feeling is a sense of connection. What? Connection when I don't have anybody to talk to, when the nights get long and I feel like I might be forever in this house? Yes, connection. I do feel this because I feel like people now have made a turning point and are figuring out how to make the best of things. Now we call each other. We get to see each other on FaceTime. I watch my grandson, who is 3, who wants to talk to Gigi, and I watch him play via FaceTime. We Zoom church on Sundays. We feel sad together. We talk about mass construction and where to get toilet paper. And a friend sees me working in my yard and brings me a cool drink and sets it on the sidewalk and connects with me. And I start to feel less lonely. I get moving. I get busy. I allow myself to feel comfortable with feeling discomfort. And I let myself feel that loneliness, and then I let it go like clouds. Comfortable in my discomfort. I bake my son a birthday cake. I make this video, which is way out of that comfort zone. And because I know nothing lasts forever, I can change this. Loneliness can be changed into connection if I just let it drift off like clouds. And I realize and I trust that I am held by God always, even if I'm alone. I can do this. I can shelter at home. And I'll learn for a while how to let the peripheral stuff go. And I will learn that loneliness is temporary, that I can change it. I know how now. Peace and clouds to you all, and may this be over quickly.
Dwell in the shelter of the Lord, who abide in God's shadow for life. Say to the Lord, my refuge, my rock in whom I trust. And God will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of God's hand.
I wonder, did the disciples feel held as they processed their grief and their guilt, their isolation and their loneliness? Did they too have to listen to the silence in order to truly hear when the risen Christ connected with them once more? Easter happened even though our traditional celebrations did not. We can choose, in this severe silence, to hear the one true voice. We can choose. And we can allow our souls to celebrate that transformation occurs in the darkness and new life embraces us in unexpected ways. Our spiritual practice for this week is to listen into the silence and be held. Let's join together in prayer. God, our hearts are filled with gratitude for your continual presence. We trust that, like Jesus in the tomb, you are with us in our darkness and quietly, gently, transforming us into something new. We celebrate that you gave us the Christ to be with us through all the ages, guiding us and requiring of us that we be your people within the world. Let us be the stranger that brightens a lonely heart, the friend who brings cool water to soothe our work-parched throat, the mother that bakes a cake in birthday remembrance, the voice on the phone that banishes loneliness. Support us as we move from comfort to discomfort and back to a new comfort when we hear your voice within and feel ourselves held by your eternal love. Help us to be present to one another in that love, and to be present to you in all the various moments of our days. Amen. Thanks for being with us today.